Hello everyone and welcome to Season 3 Priory Guide from Warlock POV. Let's see what has changed since the last patch. Captain Dailcry's mechanics change depending on which one of the 3 minibosses you leave alive. There's Chainmail, who leaps to random players, dealing damage and applying a bleed to anyone nearby. Amberlance, who channels Holy Radiance, dealing pulsating party-wide damage, and Dual Maul, who spams fireballs and casts Emberstorm, raining dodgeable fire circles. Whichever miniboss you leave alive, Dailcry will grant them Bound by Fate, increasing their health by 1000% and bounding his and their health pools together. The boss himself has 3 abilities. Savage Mauling makes him put up a shield and leap onto a random target, immobilizing them and dealing high damage until the shield is broken. Earth-Shattering Spear, his new Season 3 ability, replaces Hurl Spear. He slams the ground, dealing party-wide damage and leaving behind a hazard zone. Finally, Battle Cry deals moderate AoE and increases his allies' damage. This effect stacks, so interrupt it every time. Braunpyke is a straightforward but punishing boss. When empowered by Vindicative Wrath, his damage increases and all his abilities are enhanced. His Hammer of Purity targets several players, summoning hammers that slam down from the sky then spiral outward. To manage this easily, stack together before the cast, then spread once the hammers land. The boss also casts Castigator Shields on random players, slowing anyone nearby, then exploding after a short delay for massive damage. Stack before the cast to control the placement. Burning Light deals extremely high party damage, applies a heavy dot and heals the boss. Interrupt it every time. Finally, Sacrificial Pyre spawns an orb with 3 charges that last 30 seconds. If left alone, it explodes and wipes the group. Stepping into it removes 1 charge but also deals party-wide damage and applies a dot to the soaker. When empowered, the Pyre has 5 charges instead of 3. Pyre's timer is long enough that you don't need to clear it the moment it spawns. Murrpray is a high-intensity encounter with 2 phases. Holy Flames targets a random player's location, dealing high damage after a short delay. The Sacred Flame targets a player with a beam that follows them, dealing damage and leaving behind a ground hazard. Blinding Light deals moderate party-wide damage, but if you're facing her during the cast, the damage doubles and you'll be disoriented for 4 seconds. Inner Fire empowers the boss and causes constant pulsing party damage. At 50% HP, Phase 2 begins as Murrpray leaps onto the balcony above the platform and shields herself with Barrier of Light, making her immune to interrupts. She then channels Embrace the Light, which ramps up party-wide damage with each pulse. Your goal is to get to her platform, break the shield and interrupt her before the damage gets out of control. You can put Gateway like in the video to cut down travel time. Until you interrupt her, groups of Arathi neophytes periodically spawn. They deal pulsing damage in a short radius around them and lose health each second. Since they die on their own, CC them and stay focused on the boss. After you interrupt Embrace the Light, Murrpray will continue to use all abilities she used in the first phase. Priory has loads of different adds. Footmen use Defend to create a small dome that reduces all damage taken by them and nearby allies. A hard CC breaks the dome and makes the footmen take increased damage for a short time. Knights cast Disrupting Shout, dealing party-wide damage and interrupting all spellcasting for 4 seconds, and they apply strong bleed to random players with Impale. Sharpshooters cast Caltrops, jumping around and scattering several traps on the ground. Stepping on one snares you and applies a bleed. Lynxes leap onto random targets, applying a bleed that remains until the target is healed to full HP. If you have a shield active and full HP when hit, the dot won't be applied. Priests cast Greater Heal, which restores 50% enemy HP. They should be top priority in any pack. Lightspawns target a random player with Purification, a heavy ticking channel. When they reach low health, they use Burst of Light, dealing lethal damage to anyone nearby and healing all enemies in range. To fight Captain Dailcry, you first have to kill 2 minibosses by defeating their linked lieutenants. Defeating Suleiman summons Chainmail. He casts Thunderclap, which deals significant party-wide damage and reduces movement speed. You can preemptively use Soulburn Demonic Circle to gain immunity to this ability. Forge Master uses Heatwave, dealing party-wide damage and afflicting everyone with a strong dot. Seal of Flame empowers his attacks, causing them to spawn Monthlum pools on each hit. His death summons Amberlands. High Priest applies Reflective Shield on herself, which absorbs damage and reflects a lot of it back to her attackers. Once she dies, Dual Maul will become available. Templars buff themselves for 30% increased damage. This should be purged because their other abilities hit your tank quite hard. Paladins drop Consecration under themselves, so don't stand anywhere near. They also cast Divine Toll, doing party-wide damage. Multiple Paladins in one pool can quickly overwhelm you, so plan defensives before the Divine Tolls start hitting. Past the second boss, you'll face light-infused undead. Upon dying, they trigger Light Within, causing a moderate party-wide damage. If they are under heavy CC as they die, the explosion is prevented. Risen mages cast Fireball Volley, a high priority interrupt. And Sir Braunpyke constantly deals high-intensity AoE with his Radiant Flame, so be ready to rotate defensives. And that's everything you need to know to survive Priory. If you found this guide helpful, please give it a like and subscribe. Also check out my other Season 3 dungeon guides and drop by on my Twitch or other social media. Links are in the description. Thanks for watching and goodbye.